Hey everybody, it's Emily from ARG Schooling, and I'm going to talk about my favorite TV shows today. So, I thought I would do a video about my favorite shows, but then I wanted to make it more specific because this could get long. So I'm going to do only shows that I'm watching right now, or about to watch right now. And maybe I'll do an update later in the year when I'm watching different shows because, it rotates based on what's on the air at the moment. I watch too much TV. Like that's what we do. We don't go places. We don't do things. We just watch TV at night. It's what we do. It's how we unwind from our day. And I love just like sitting on the couch and getting immersed in a new show. And of course I'm going to cheat. My first show that I'm going to talk about isn't on the air yet, but it will be. And there's so much buzz about it that I feel like I kind of have to talk about it. And that would be Game of Thrones. So, Game of Thrones, I've been watching from season 1, and I remember I heard about it. What show were we watching? I think we were watching Boardwalk Empire, and there was a preview for a new series, and I thought, that looks intriguing. And then I found out it was based on a book, and of course I went and got the book at my library, read it like super fast because I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. And then we watched the show and I devoured the rest of the series, and I've been obsessed, like obsessed with Game of Thrones and the Song of Ice and Fire ever since. It's just like, I need more. Like, I need it in my life. I love it so much. But yeah, it's awesome. The characters are also just, it's not like anything I'd ever seen before. Like, I'm used to shows where you know these characters and they are always the same character all the way through, and they never change, or maybe they change a little bit, but they're growing within themselves. But Game of Thrones is so not like that. Like, you can meet a character at the beginning who you hate, and then by the middle of the series you're like, but that's my favorite character and I love him and he's so awesome. And if you know, I'm talking about Jaime Lannister. But, like, they can change, like, completely on you, and you don't expect it, and then there's characters that are just so horrible, you hate them, and just so many strange little things. I love it. I love it so much. So, yeah, that comes back in April, and I cannot wait. I can't wait. The next show I want to talk about is The Walking Dead, because it just aired their mid-season premiere the other night, and it was possibly the best episode I think I've seen since like season 1, which, I mean, the show is ridiculous, but yeah, I did not actually want to watch The Walking Dead when it first aired. My husband told me about it, and I thought, oh, zombies, really? Like, zombies? I don't like zombies. I don't like zombie movies. I don't like that genre. And so I have very, very low expectations for what the show is going to be. And so I humored him, and I watched the first episode with him because I knew he wanted to see it. So I was like, okay, I'll give it a chance. And I think I'm slightly more obsessed with it now than he is. Because it's not about the zombies. And a lot of people would pass it off because zombies. And you don't watch The Walking Dead for the zombies because it's not actually about the zombies at all. It's about the people. And that's why I love it. I love the characters so much. And like you want them to survive. And it makes you think about, like, how would you behave in that world? Like, if the world ended today and everything went to hell, like, what would you do? Would you be a survivor or would you just die? I think I'd die. Honestly, I don't think I'd survive I don't think I was meant to ever survive an apocalypse like that. So yeah, but I think, like, it really makes you think. Like, would you be Rick? Would you be Maggie or Glenn? I mean, I don't know. I would like to think that I would be Glenn. That I would be, like, able to retain my humanity. But I don't know. There's so much to think about. But I love the show so much. I love the characters. I love how insane it gets sometimes. Like, I've literally watched episodes where I sat on the edge of my seat, gripping the arms of the couch and just I don't know. It's crazy. Makes my heart race, and I love the adrenaline rush of just not knowing what's going to happen. It's kind of like Game of Thrones in that you just don't know. You have no idea. And I've read some of the comics. I haven't read all the comics because I just don't like comics. But I've read some of it, so I kind of knew things that were going to happen, but they don't always play out like they do in the comics, so I was never sure, but yeah, it's a good show. It's really good. And the writing is awesome, and I love it. And now for a slightly different type of TV series, I'm going to talk about Downton Abbey. Now, this show I did not expect my husband to like at all. He's not big into period dramas and, the costume dramas and that historical kind of thing. I mean, there's a couple shows I've gotten him to watch, like The White Queen. We watched that. He watched The Tudors, but let's be honest, he was watching The Tudors for a totally different reason than I was. But, I mean, I did not think he was going to go for Downton Abbey, but he got sucked in, just like I did. And it's such a fun show. It's totally not Game of Thrones or The Walking Dead, although there have been episodes of Downton Abbey where I was just like, what did they just do? What just happened? And it's just a fun show to watch. I love the historicalness of it. I love seeing the transitions that are happening from season 1, where it's aristocracy is the most important thing, to this season 6, where you can see it crumbling and falling apart, and the people who worked in service, they're all trying to figure out what they're going to do now because their life is not what it would have been even a few years before. And so I find that all fascinating, and I really like it. And I love the characters. It's fun. I love to hate Mary because she's just so freaking annoying. I don't like her. But I love Edith. And I love I don't know, it's just such a good show. And I really enjoy it. My guilty pleasure show that I'm a little bit embarrassed to admit that I enjoy as much as I do would be Vampire Diaries. Now, I know this is based on a book, and I read the book, and the book sucked, so bad. But I had already seen, a couple seasons of the Vampire Diaries by the time I read the book, so I think I was expecting what I get from the show to be in the book, and it just wasn't. It wasn't. And yeah. And it's kind of cheesy and overdramatic and ridiculous. But that's what makes it fun, I think, and I enjoy it. I mean, I gotta admit, now this season is not my favorite. I don't know. I think the dynamic changed when we lost Elena and all her doppelgangers, and I feel like now without her in the show, it kind of lost its focus, and they don't really know what to do. It almost feels like they're ending the series, and I kind of hope they are. I think it feels like they're ending the series, and they're trying to figure out how. And the whole, time jump thing is just really annoying me, but I think that might start making sense now, I think. I hope, because this season has been a little bit weird. But I've always enjoyed it because it's just ridiculous and fun and silly, and I'm a big Damon shipper. I ship him with Elena, of course, but I'll ship him with anyone because Damon's awesome. I like him. I like that he's the most realistic vampire in the series. I did try to watch the originals. I think we gave it a season, maybe 2. I think maybe 2 seasons. I mean, I just lost interest because Vampire Diaries has always had the dynamic of the love triangle, which is kind of silly, but it's also got so many different things, different characters, and their stories going on that it kept it interesting. I love Alaric. I love Alaric so much, and he's probably my favorite character in the show, and I love his relationship with Damon, but I also love to see how he interacts with all the other characters. But I think the problem with the originals was that there wasn't enough characters to have storylines, and the whole thing just kept being about family issues. We have family drama. That's what our show was about. Ooh, and I don't know, I just wasn't getting it. And I do like the Vampire Diaries, and I'll finish that out to the end because, like True Blood, I'm stuck until it ends, basically. I have to know how it goes. even if this season is like not my favorite. What are you gonna do? Another show that I just recently got into is The Magicians, and I started watching this because I've read the books. Well, some of the books. I've read 2 of the books. I have to finish the series. It's a trilogy. I'm going to read the last one really soon. It's going to happen. But I started the series because I liked the books and I wanted to see how they were going to portray it, because Sci-Fi is picked it up, and I'm like, most of the shows that I've seen on Sci-Fi are kind of cheesy and I wasn't really sure how it was going to go. But I have been pleasantly surprised. I think there's only been like 3 episodes. I didn't watch Mondays because we were playing catch up. This is the time of year we have too many shows. So Monday night we didn't watch it because we were catching up on Downton Abbey and Talking Dead. So I'm going to watch it tonight, I hope. But so far so good. I actually really like how they've done the changes that they've done. It hasn't really hurt the story at all. I like Penny's character a lot more in the show than I did in the books. And I am looking forward to seeing where they take everything. It's good so far. So I'm going to stick it out and see how it goes. Another show we've been watching for a long time is The Big Bang Theory. And I know people like to hate on The Big Bang Theory, but I really like it. It's just fun and silly. And like, I have a kid that's kind of Sheldon-ish. Not in like the super genius ways, but like in the ridiculous, like that's my spot way. Like he has a chair at the table that no one else can sit in because that is his chair. Even if he's not even in the room, you don't sit there. That's his chair. That's his spot. So I always tease that he's Sheldon, but it's just a fun show. And I love Johnny Galecki. I've been watching him since he was on Roseanne, and I like him. And so I like the show. I like his character on the show. Leonard's so funny. And I enjoy it. It's fun. It's silly and ridiculous, and it's fun to watch. So. And the last show I want to talk about is Vikings, because that's coming on this week. I'm excited because I love history. I'm a nerd when it comes to history. I love reading about it. I love watching shows that take place, and my thing is like European history for the most part, but I like other stuff too. But I really like medieval stuff and Viking era, and I love that. So I'm really enjoying watching the Vikings. I find them fascinating. I find their whole mythology really fascinating. I find just their interactions, and like the fact that they had female warriors is just so badass. I love that. And I really, really, really like the show, and I'm excited to see what happens this season. Last season, I felt kind of like depressing, and I hope this is a good season. I really am looking forward to seeing what happens, and I don't know, it's just going to be good, I think. It's going to be good. So those are the shows that I am watching like right now, or almost, and I'd love to hear if you watch any of these shows, and if you have shows that you like that are on now that I'm not watching, tell me about them. Be to hear. Thanks for watching this video. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!